Hey everybody, this is Donna, the Transdimensional Twin Flame and the Afterlife Artist. I'm here on October 3rd, 2025 to pull some cards for the collective energy today. And as always, if you would like cards pulled specifically for you, just leave me a comment and I'll do that for you. Today we have some sound healing first. This is my Tibetan singing bowl called a Mana because of the handle style, and it is for the heart chakra. Then I also have this Tibetan singing bowl that is for the root chakra, and I'm thinking this combination would be good today because everybody that I know in my particular country, well, yeah, everybody I know is not feeling so great about the state of things right now because of authoritarian oppression. And that's not a good thing. We don't want to let evil people control our emotions. One thing you have control over in your life is your thoughts, your decisions, your behaviors, your beliefs. If you're letting other people control the narrative of what goes on in your head all day and what your behaviors are and your thoughts and your beliefs, then you're completely disempowered. And if you really want to take power back in your own life, which means you have to start with yourself first, and once you do that, you can help other people do it. That's what Chris and I are doing. So it matters what I'm talking about. This is the most important information you could ever hear, is that you have control over your experience in life based on your thoughts, your emotions, your feelings, your beliefs. You can change those beliefs. You can change your emotions. You can focus on the positive. You can focus on gratitude. You can raise your vibration, or you can lower your own vibration. You can heal yourself, or you can make yourself sick. You get to choose that. And nobody told us this when we were kids. I'm telling you now, it's the absolute truth. It's the metaphysical truth of this reality, that we don't all live in the same reality, and we shift dimensions on a small scale all the time. All the time you are slightly shifting to a different vibration. A different dimension is just a shift in vibration. So I personally have had one of the best years of my life, despite the way the world is looking right now, and I'm aware of it, and I feel it just like any good-hearted light worker would feel, that oppression and the mistreatment of other humans is evil. Any person with a conscience feels that. If you don't feel that, you have a real problem. So in order to help us not fall for it, they want to scare us. They're trying to shock us and make us go into freeze mode. When your amygdala is overactive, it causes the states of fight or flight or freeze. There's another one called fawn, which I think we know some people are doing that. Those are all maladaptive behaviors based on trauma. And what our leaders right now are trying to do to us is to cause us to be incapacitated. The only person who can help you out of that is you. You can't control what these people are doing. All of us are under their thumb right now because people didn't wake up and vote, for their own best interests and the interest of the collective. But the only thing you can do about it now is take charge of yourself. This is what I've been doing for the last 10 years. And it has saved my life. And it has completely changed my life for the better. There is nothing negative about what I've done by addressing myself and doing my inner shadow work, which is just your inner self-reflection, and you're discovering what your own patterns are, what your beliefs are, and why. If you don't really know yourself and you've never asked these questions, it's a good time to start. Because some of the things we believe aren't true. Some of them are harmful. Some of them are toxic. And some of them are holding us back. And some of them are keeping us in a box and making us feel like a person that we really are not. Now is the time we all have to own our own behavior and our emotions. Your vibration is mingling with everyone else's vibration. That's why you feel great in the company of a person with a high vibration. They're usually happy, healthy, and positively focused. And that's why you feel, bad when you're with somebody with a lower vibration. Unless you are in a lower vibration, in which case that feels like home to you. And sometimes a higher vibrational person will seem irritating because you're like, why, how is that person so happy? What the hell, what, you know what I mean? Like, what's wrong with them? Don't they understand how horrible everything is? It's horrible for you if you make it horrible. People can influence our lives, but they're not really in charge of how our life goes, because in this reality, you're co-creating it. What happens in our lives is a combination of things from your higher self and your human lower self, your egoic self. You're manifesting from your ego. That's the lower self. You are also manifesting from your higher self, which is the one that is in the non-physical, that's connected to the higher dimensions, and it knows what you need to know. And you're manifesting from your subconscious and your unconscious and your superconscious. So the more conscious you are about what you're doing and thinking and how you're behaving in the world every day, the better. Once you take charge of it, you can totally flip your life around. I am living proof. I was in the worst dark night of the soul that personally I haven't heard of anything that makes me cringe more than my own dark night of the soul did. Of course it happened to me, but that's not why. I've just never heard of anybody else's dark night of the soul that was as dark and lasted as long as mine. And that's not unusual. I'm a twin flame and a quadruple Scorpio. We go deep, we go dark, but then we come up higher and go higher towards the light. And that's why we have a scorpion as our lower symbol and an eagle as our higher symbol. So when you can go into the deepest, darkest depths of yourself, but then come out on the other side of it better because you've transmuted the lower negative energies into something higher, that's the work of a master, an energetic master on this planet. And I'm not saying everybody can do that. That's not everybody's path. I think most people are just trying to get by. But if you actually want to ever thrive in this world, you have to stop making it contingent on whether the outer world looks the way you want it to be. You have to disengage from what other people are doing, and stop feeling like a victim, because a lot of times we victimize ourselves, or we allow other people to victimize us with their characterizations of us. When, wake up. It's time to wake up. Wake up to yourself and tend your own garden. Stop worrying so much about what everybody else is doing. Stop blaming everyone else for your problems and start looking inside for those answers. That's what's going to save you. Nobody else is coming to save you. Now, of course, we do have to think of the collective good. That's what needs to happen now. We don't need to forget that other people exist. That's not what I mean. I just mean we are not supposed to focus on other people being the cause for all of our problems, because they're just not. Right now, there's a certain group of people who are fascists who are the cause of a lot of problems right now, all over the world, and that is true. But in your microcosm of your life, what you do have control over is what you should focus on. And that's what these cards are about. All the teachings that Chris and I have given you for free over the years are coming out in these card readings. The card readings are just for fun. They're just a little break in your day. I would suggest if you are scrolling social media, doom scrolling and getting anxious, you probably should stop that and either get off social media because it's mostly toxic, or very much curate who you listen to and pick people who are of a high vibration and are trying to teach you something positive and give you something positive, like myself. You need to choose very carefully where you put your attention, because wherever you focus, you're going to get that. So if you're constantly focused on the most horrible scenario that you can think of that you're afraid of, you are likely to manifest that in your life. And I don't say that to scare you, I say it to wake you up. If you focus on the good and your own power and something that you can do in this world that makes you feel like you've accomplished something, find out who you are and why you're here and just start doing something nice for somebody else. It doesn't take that long. Give somebody a compliment, pay for their coffee, let them go in front of you in line, carry their bags for them, volunteer to help with a food bank or anywhere that needs volunteers. Reach out to people who are struggling on social media. If you're going to have to be on social media, at least do something good with it. What I've been doing with social media for over 10 years now is to share healing and self-help for people. It started out with mental illness help, and now it's spiritual help. And that's what I choose to use this platform for, because otherwise this platform can be fairly toxic and a waste of time. I don't consider it a full waste of time because I met my twin flame Chris there, and I met other friends there, and I have spread our high vibrations and our teachings far and wide on this platform, but it's not my life. And if it's your life, you probably should disengage, look at it and disengage, figure out how much time you're spending there, and then figure out how you want to spend your time there. Mindlessly scrolling isn't helping anybody. It's not helping you. It's not helping the collective. You're not a part of the solution to any of these problems that are going on right now, if that's what you're doing. So break out of it and do something good. It'll make you feel great to help somebody else. And now that our government is actually trying to, I don't even want to say, they're trying to suppress anybody who disagrees with them. We all need extra support right now. So please, find a way to help out in your community, online or in person, or better yet, both. And if you feel called, to talk about and protest what's going on, that's up to you. Everybody can help in some kind of way. You don't have to do it in such a direct way. Some people are activists and some are not, but we should all be activists in our own lives. We should all be fighting for the greater good. We should all want everybody to be happy. We should all want everyone to be fulfilled and fed and housed properly, and to have a good quality of life and to thrive instead of just survive. If you don't want that for everyone, you've really got to examine where you are becoming unhinged, because you're losing part of your humanity and your chakras are closed. So that's just some food for thought. And now that I've talked for 12 minutes, my little soapbox, we're going to do a little bit of sound healing. So here is the root chakra. The root chakra is the first chakra that ever forms when your chakras are being formed, when you're small. The first few years of your life, this chakra is connected to the earth. It's connected to your safety and your home. So if your root chakra is out of balance, which it is for most people right now in this country at least, and probably the world, you need some balance on your root chakra. So look up the root chakra and figure out how to make yourself feel more safe in your own life, in your own body. And then, of course, the heart chakra, which is the center chakra, and that's the one that connects you to the self-love that you need and the love for the collective. We should all have open heart chakras. What people are trying to do to us right now in this oppression that we're suffering is to close our hearts. They want you to hate your neighbor. They want you to hate people that are different from you. They want you to hate people that are a different skin color or ethnicity or, a different social status, or that think differently than you, or that have a different sexual orientation than you. Okay? Don't fall for it. Hate is not your natural state. If you're full of hate, that is something that's been taught to you and placed upon you, and you've been traumatized and you haven't dealt with it. That is something you can heal. Love is your natural state. That's where we come from. Our souls are not full of hate, okay? Our souls are love. And if you've lost that, you got to get back in touch with yourself. And that's what, I know this isn't a major help with these card readings. It's mostly for me to just take a break and use my divination skills and just pull some cards because it's fun, right? But in the end, it might help somebody have a little break from their day, and it might give them a good little piece of information. So I'm going to do it. Okay, so here is the root chakra. Okay, that was really nice for me. Hope it was good for you. Okay, we're going to pull a few cards. I'm going to use a different deck today. It's not tarot. It's called Lenormand. It's by my favorite card artist, MJ Culiane. I think that's her name, Culianane. There it is. This is called Tales for Tomorrow. She always uses animals in her decks. This is what the back of the cards look like. Oops. And these are the fronts. Sorry, some of them are upside down. So this is a different system than the tarot. So it's new to me. I mean, I'd heard about it for years, but I don't know the cards that well. So here's the first collective card for today. I already shuffled these, but we'll just shuffle some more. Ooh, it flew out all the way off the table. I think shuffling is fun, by the way. I think shuffling cards is sort of a meditative act in itself. Okay, we got the Rider. We got this card the other day when I pulled the Rider, number 1. This is going to be a person who gives you information. All right, let me see if any more want to come out. And if you want a card pulled, you can tell me what deck. If you want Lenormand, I'll do that. If you want tarot, I have tarot. And if you just want some oracle cards, we have several decks of cards. This was for numbers. This is messages from spirit. And this is channeled messages for just, positive things you could focus on during the day. Okay, these aren't falling out, so I'm gonna cut the deck and just pick. This is our second card. This is the Scythe, number 10. And our third card, because I think I'll do 3. And you can see these as like past, present, future, today, next week, next month, or, this month, the day, the week, the month. You could, basically anything you want, you can assign a meaning to these cards however you want. All right, I'll just take this one. Whoops. This is the Key, number 33. Nice. I've had a lot of key synchronicities. I keep getting physical keys in my life. They just show up. Okay, number 1 is the Rider. This person is going somewhere. There's a crow up there. Let's see what the Rider says. So you can look while I'm reading. Okay, number 1, the Rider. Okay, I'm just going to read this from the book. Here's the page, in case you want to screenshot it. Okay, the Rider is about messages, news, swift action, and travel, which, that does make sense when you look at the picture on the card. They're traveling. Associated with new beginnings or fresh starts, the Rider can indicate that something new is on the horizon and that change is coming. The Rider can also signify the arrival of a message, whether through the mail, email, phone, or in person, and could be related to work, love, or personal matters. This news may concern current events, personal relationships, or work. So pretty much anything. Unlike the Letter card, which is the actual information that you receive, the Rider is what brings you the message. The Rider may also point to a potential for travel, whether it's work or pleasure. The length and purpose of the trip may depend on the context of the reading. Finally, depending on the position within the reading or the question, the Rider may signify a fast-paced action, change, or momentum. That sounds intriguing. Okay, we're going to go to number 10, the Scythe. And see what number 10, the Scythe, says here. Here's the page. If you would like to screenshot it. Okay, the Scythe talks about sudden endings, decisive cuts, and potential danger. Be warned, the Scythe can indicate a sudden and unexpected change in circumstances. It can be a jarring experience, but it can also be necessary for growth and transformation. A situation may require swift action or decisive cuts, making tough decisions, letting go of what no longer serves you, or taking risks to move forward. There is a potential danger when the Scythe appears. Caution is advised during risky situations. The Scythe can also represent the need to cut ties or sever connections. This may involve ending a relationship, leaving a job or a project, or discarding a belief or habit that no longer serves you. Use this sharp blade to help you prune and clean away what you don't need and release negative thoughts or patterns. I know that sounds scary, but we have to do that. That's what I was just talking about earlier. If you're not making these kinds of decisions in your life on a regular basis, you may be in for an unwelcome surprise when suddenly everything is kind of out of control. You need to prune your life. You need to curate your life and make sure that your relationships are healthy, that you're healthy, and that you're making wise decisions. So this is a card that may bring that into focus for you if you've not been doing that. But if you have been doing that regularly, it's not as harsh normally. When you are spiritually awakened and you're making these choices on a regular basis, they don't smack you in the face quite as much. Things still happen that you don't expect, and everybody goes through hard times, but it's not quite so shocking when you are spiritually awake and taking control of your life, just like I talked about earlier. Okay, number 33 is the Key. It's confusing that she's got number 8 on there as well. I don't really understand why there's 2 numbers on every card. But here is the Key. I think this will be a good one. There's the page if you want to screenshot. The Key is solutions, answers, and opportunities. That sounds great because it seems like we had to make some choices. We might have to move. We might have to cut some ties and change some things up, but we have a solution here, right? So this reading does tell a story with these cards, I think that's good. So here's the Key. The Key card can indicate that a solution to a problem or a challenge is available and within reach. It can represent a breakthrough or a turning point in a situation. New opportunities are also available. However, you must take action to unlock their potential. You hold the key. In addition, the Key reveals answers it reveals answers and offers clarity. The information and knowledge you desire are accessible. You have the tools to obtain needed awareness or wisdom. So it is up to you if you want to open that door. What did I just say earlier when we first started? This is everything I just said. I have noticed that on these readings, whatever I am being called to talk about that day comes out in the cards. The cards always, reiterate what I'm talking about. Always. I also have some pendulums here. And a couple of these are for sale. This one, the tip broke, so I'll just keep using that myself, even though it's really beautiful. But these are orgone, resin, crystals, and copper. So if you want anything like that, let me know. I was going to do some pendulum questions today, but I don't really have any questions. If you guys do, I will come back on and do a video of answering your questions with the pendulum. basically, if you've never seen anybody use a pendulum, hold on, let me do this. You hold it like this, you do not move your hand, and then you learn which way your pendulum answers for yes, no, or I don't know, okay? So, my pendulum is always controlled with Chris, my twin flame in spirit. So I can tell him to even stop the pendulum and make it not move, which is kind of weird because you think about it, your hand always moves a little bit. Okay, stop. I'm going to do it now. Stop. Okay, Chris, are you here? That motion up and down means he is here. That's yes. Chris, can you show us what no means? Look, he started before I even finished my sentence. That's what no means. Chris, can you show me what I don't know means if you don't know the answer? It's a circle. And then he invented another answer for me. Chris, can you show me that you love me? When he wants to tell me he loves me, he goes counterclockwise in a circle. And he invented that. And he does it when I need help. Like if I'm having a bad day or something and I'll be asking him questions, he'll stop and just say, I love you. And he won't say anything else. And he'll just keep saying, I love you. And it will spin wider and wider and wider. See it? And I'm not moving any more than I'm being as still as I can. So I'm not influencing this pendulum. And that's basically how it works. So if you want some pendulum, yes, it has to be yes or no. Yes or no questions. You can narrow down a lot of information, though, with just yes or no questions. You can get a lot of information from this. I would say there's some, I don't know, I have mixed feelings about any kind of divination like the pendulum, because it's been said that you can influence it with your energy. Like if I want a particular answer, that I could get that answer because I want it, sort of subconsciously. But I don't, I do my best to do my ego work so that I don't have that problem. That's an issue we all have to do. And, you don't have to take it as the gospel, but it's interesting and definitely something's going on there, because I was not moving that pendulum, and I don't really have, if you don't really have an attachment to the outcome of the question that you're asking, that's the best scenario, because you don't want to influence this. You really want the truth. We should all be wanting the truth right now, for the truth of who we are and what's going on in this reality. Okay, thank you so much. This was a pretty long reading today because I talked a lot, but I hope that it was informative. And thank you so much if you watched all this. Have a great day.